Alright, today I'm going to teach you about different types of variation. We're going to study direct variation, inverse variation, and joint variation. Direct variation means as x increases, y also increases. The equation that we're going to use for direct variation is y equals k times x. An example of direct variation would be your paycheck. If you think about a paycheck being the number of hours you worked times your hourly rate, as the number of hours you worked goes up, so does your paycheck. So we say that those variables are directly related. As one goes up, so does the other one. Now, inverse variation, on the other hand, is a little bit different. Inverse variation means as x increases, y decreases. The equation that we'll use for inverse variation is y equals k divided by x. Or another way we can think of it is x times y equals k. Depending on the situation, I use both of those equations. When I'm setting it up, I'll sometimes use the fraction way, but at times, writing them as x times y equals k is easier. A real-life example of inverse variation would be when you're driving a car. As the driving time increases, the amount of gas in your car decreases. So as one variable goes up, the other variable goes down. Now, just to be clear, today we're under the assumption that x and y are variables that relate to each other, and k is called the constant of variation. As we enter joint variation, we have to introduce a third variable. So now, x, y, and z are variables. K is still a constant of variation. The equation that we'll use for joint variation is y equals k times x times z. Now, you might still be a little bit confused right now about what all of these different equations mean, but I'm going to show you as we go through the rest of the notes the different ways that you're going to use them. The first type of question that you're going to see on your homework is just to simply recognize which type of variation is being represented. Okay, so for the first type of questions, for which type of variation is represented, what you basically want to do is just rewrite the equation into the general form. So I put a little reminder right here for you to pay attention to remember from the top all of your different forms. Direct variation is y equals k times x. Inverse is x times y equals k. So the x and the y are on the same side of the equal sign. And joint variation has 3 variables, so that one should be pretty easy to identify. So, as I was saying, you want to rewrite the equation into the general form, and then you want to pay attention to k's position. Remember that k is the constant, so whatever number is in the equation, that's going to be your k. Alright, so for A, we don't really even have to do much because we see it's already in the form x times y equals a number, so that one's going to just be inverse variation. Don't make fun of my writing. I'm doing this on the iPad. You should be proud. Alright, B is y equals x minus 2. We don't have any types of variation where there's a minus sign or a plus sign, so this one's actually a trick question. It's none of the above. Alright, for C, we have x equals y divided by 1.5. Now, you might be thinking, oh, it's got a fraction, so it has to be inverse. But remember, for inverse variation, one of the variables is in the denominator. In this problem, both variables are on the same side of the equal sign. One easy way to work with it is to think about clearing out the 1.5 that's in the denominator by multiplying by that on both sides. So then we have 1.5x equals y. And then we can see, oh, this is y and x on different sides of the equal sign, so this one is actually direct variation. Alright, the last one, D, does have x and y, one of them being in the denominator. So if you wanted to, you could multiply by x, so it becomes kind of like with the first one, and you're looking at x times y equals 2. Or you could just recognize when one of the variables is in the denominator, that means that it's inverse variation. The next thing we're going to practice is translating words into the algebraic equation. It's really important here that you read the variables in order. Okay, so for the first one, it says y varies directly with x. So y equals k times x, and inversely, so inversely means now it's going to go to the bottom with z squared. So the equation we're going to write for this is y equals k times x on the top divided by z squared. Now, like I was saying, if you don't read the variables in order, you're not going to know what to put where. So y varies directly with x. You also need to remember to put that k in there, and inversely with z squared. The second one, B, says that z varies jointly with x squared and y. So z is the variable that's doing the varying, which means that's the one that goes by itself. So z equals k times x squared times y. You can see it's not just going to be as simple as x times y every single time. It could mix up which variable is doing the varying, and it could put in things like squares and cubes. Alright, now we're getting into the most common types of question that I'm going to ask you for direct, inverse, and joint.